So today I'm kind of looking at some fall leaves. Fall is a great time of the year for color and texture. And something I learned recently is that the leaves are green because of their chlorophyll, but they're actually, when they lose the chlorophyll in the fall, then the actual true leaves of the color show through. So that's the actual real leaf of the real color of the leaf after the chlorophyll has faded away. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now I've used leaves before and to explore texture and color, but today I'm actually going to use something in the art room that is a little bit different kind of tool for us to explore texture and color with leaves. So I have sets of these leaves. You can see I've had them for a while. They work great because this part doesn't show up, just the texture does. And for my kids that haven't seen them before, here, that surface, there's a raised surface. If you look at them too, this is kind of like a valley. This side is like a mountain. I like to use the mountain side for this. So what I'm going to try out today are some new crayons that I have that are construction paper crayons. I'm going to take my texture plate, I'm going to put it under my paper, and I can tell it's right here. I can feel the lump of it. And I'm going to take one of these new, I haven't used these before, construction paper crayons, and see how well this works. The idea here is that the color show up nice and bright. So you can kind of see I'm holding it at an angle. I'm not using the tip, so that I can kind of rub it across and find the edges of those raised surface, that texture of that leaf. That came out pretty good. You can really see it really stands out. I can use that same leaf, and I'm just lifting it up and moving it over a little bit. They can overlap. I'm going to pick a different color crayon. Again, this is actually better that this one's not new because I can kind of have that flat side to use. I've been wanting to get these construction paper crayons for the longest time, so I've got a whole set this year, and I think they're going to work perfect for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these texture plates. I might use a variety of leaves. I'm definitely going to use a variety of colors. I'm going to fill this paper. Alright, so you can see now my leaf pattern. I made 7. I kind of spread them around the paper. I know it's hard to see my whole paper with the way I'm doing this, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're seeing most of it. And I have these kind of negative spaces here that are filled with black. They're talking about our background is black, that's the negative space, and these bright colored leaves are kind of the positive. So the next step for this is we're going to use a new material and we're going to kind of create some pattern in the negative space or the background. Okay, so for the next part, for my background, I'm going to create something called contour lines, and I'm going to be using metallic Sharpies. These are really fun to use on black paper, which is what we started with, so they're going to be perfect. Now a contour line is something that is a line drawn around the edge of an object. So I'm going to start with this purple one, and I'm just going to make kind of this nice organic wiggly line by following around the edge of my leaf. Now my goal here is I'm going to go slow enough that I can follow the edge and keep it equidistant. I tried to have the same space all the way around the leaf, and that already looks super cool. That silver Sharpie really looks great on the black. Now you can do this a few ways. You could just keep going with that line, or you can jump to another leaf and start with that one. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that same process. I'm going to repeat. I'm going slow enough so I can keep it nice and equidistant. I'm not going way out. Now I could stop when I get to another leaf. I'm going to do that. I'm going to just stop there for a second. Right, and I have a contour line there. So I'm going to look at this purple one. That one was harder to see. So right now I'm just going to kind of do my best to go around the edge of that one. The purple wasn't quite as light a value, so it was harder to see against that black background. So I just kind of have those two connected because they were touching and overlapping when I did the crayon. So I'm going to do that with each leaf. If they're touching, I might treat them as one shape. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to stop here so that I can finish that, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so for the next step, one of the things I like to do are make some little random little kind of, I'm just going to call it a bubble, some little spots around the outside, just in some of my larger spaces. Like this is a big area of black right here. So I'm going to put a little bubble in it. This corner was a big area, so I put a couple. This corner was kind of big, so I'm going to put a couple of these little bubbles in these larger spots. And it's just going to break that space up a little bit. This corner is a little bit big. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you and then I'm going to do it as a time lapse, is I'm going to follow this line over and over again and fill up that space. You're going to see it in the time lapse in just a minute. When I follow around and I hit another one, I'm just going to stop. So when this shape is done, in fact, this shape is going to fill up so fast I can do this one right here. I can kind of just go like this, around that, and stop. Now this is a little space I could do that, and I'm not going to fit much more in here, so I'm going to do here. Now that space is done. So I've kind of filled in that space. So okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest on time lapse so you can kind of follow my example and you can see where this is going to go. Alright, so the key now is just to decide when you're done. I might make a couple small little dots here just to fill in those spaces, balance them out a little bit. I don't have to fill the whole thing with the contour lines going around the edge, but I like to make it interesting enough. I'll take a picture so you can see the whole thing as it's done, but I'm feeling like it looks pretty dynamic now. Got lots of interesting use of space, great contour lines. I can go in and add some small little details just to kind of create interest. And overall, I've got a nice, interesting, I love the way these crayons worked with the black paper, and I love the silver Sharpie on the black paper. It's a very strong texture and contour line, kind of positive and negative space project.